The SABC in the last 15 minutes has said it will file an application in the Labour Court tomorrow to have irregular appointments within the public broadcaster declared unlawful, invalid, and to set them aside. In a media statement, the SABC sees these are appointments that are deemed to have been effected without following the proper SABC policies. Joining me now is the head of legal services here at the SABC, Adv Ntuthuzelo Vanara. Advocate Vanara, good evening to you. Thank you so much for coming in tonight.
Good evening to you, Stephen, and to your viewers at home.
What action are you actually taking?
We would tomorrow, in line with the decision that has been taken to bring this application, be serving the affected employees with the applications tomorrow. What happened this afternoon, the executives that are responsible for all those people that are affected would have met with the individuals concerned to, one, inform them of this cause of action, but secondly, to explain that tomorrow they will be served. They should make themselves available. But thirdly, to explain the consequences of this application in respect to their daily activities within their employment.
Are they going to be at work while all of this is going on?
Certainly not. It's not our intention. The reason we went to court is precisely not to take the law into our own hands. So whilst the application seeks to achieve two things: one, to have the appointments declared invalid and set aside; secondly, to have a court order ordering these affected employees to vacate their positions immediately. They would still continue to render their services to the organization until such time that a court of law has determined the application.
I'm sorry, I'm a bit confused. Are you saying they're going to work from home?
No, they're not going to work from home. They're going to come to work. Nothing changes in respect of their employment status, in respect of the obligations to the company, as well as the obligations of the company to them.
Okay. Are you able to tell us the names of the people, or tell us which categories of office you're looking at here?
Unfortunately, I cannot disclose the names. But I can give you an indication of the number of the people affected. I can give you the levels of the people that are affected. We are looking currently at around about 27 employees that are currently with the company. We're also looking, so it's 27 people within the company. And we are also looking at the employees that whose services have been terminated, but they are challenging the termination of their services.
Okay, I mean, what I'm trying to get to, some of the people who might be going through this court process could be in quite high authority at the SABC.
No, certainly you would recall that both the board, Parliament, the shareholder representative would expect nothing but equal treatment of all the employees that are affected. This application would affect people at the level of group executives, general managers, right through the respective positions of the organization.
And I mean, the moment you file papers, the names will be in the public domain anyway.
Certainly, but we have not filed the papers. That's a point we're making.
Feel free to send them to me first. Okay. So does this affect people who've left the organization? And what I'm saying is that there were people who would have been appointed, and we're talking, I mean, let's talk about what we're talking about. We're talking in the main, I imagine, people who were appointed during the era of Claudia Motsoeneng at the SABC.
That's partly correct. Yes, we are looking at those that have left, but not in its entirety. We've had to look at the economies of scale. And what we want to achieve. What we want to achieve with this application is to bring justice. What would have happened is that the citizens of this company would have been, on the receiving end of these irregularities. And so long as these irregularities persist, there's going to be constant conflict, there's going to be constant unhappiness. And so those that have left, there's no reason for us to pursue them, so long as they have been terminated and they want to come back. Because if they come back, it means the conflict will continue. So the only people that we pursue who have left the company will be those that are still challenging their termination of services.
Okay. Isn't there an argument, and I realise, there are arguments in all sorts of ways here, but there'll be some people who will have occupied a position and received a salary that they weren't qualified to receive. You're not going to pursue those salaries, and aligned with that, there aren't people who are currently in office now who you're challenging who might end up having to pay a portion of their salaries back. Are you going to pursue them for that?
Regrettably, with the irregularities and in light of the absence of a performance management system in the recent past of the company, it will be difficult to recoup the salaries that these individuals have received over the years, irrespective of how the company views their contribution to the company. But we are, in a separate matter, going to recoup those salaries that were irregularly increased because there will be legal basis to recoup those salaries.
Okay, presumably, a large number of the 27 people that you're talking about, they're unlikely to go without a fight. I imagine you'll have chapter and verse, you will have all of the documents, but they will argue. This could go on for years. We've seen that happen before with legalities in the SABC.
We don't think that this will go down for years because it is really an issue of legality reviews. That's precisely why we go to court. We're not taking the law into our own hands. We want an objective process, a process that complies with the law, but also to allow the affected individuals an opportunity to bring and put forward their case before an independent judge, and for this matter to be adjudicated by our courts.
Okay, so we'll go through this process now. There could easily be an argument to come at you from another side to say that you're relying on reports from Parliament, which of course you will recall very well. There was the report from the Public Protector, and I don't mean the current Public Protector, I mean Advocate now Professor Adv Ntuthuzelo, and there is the independent inquiry report that was released, I think, now 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Could the SABC have acted earlier in this? Or do you think it was that important to wait for the independent SABC investigation that was conducted by Joe Tlole?
If we're a company which was functional, fully functional, maybe we could have acted earlier. But you need to understand the context and the history behind this. There was an era where the SABC was basically under siege, starting from the board to the executive directors, right to the foot soldiers on the ground. And with the challenges that the company faces, the interim board came and gone. There's now a board. There was a period when that board was not cooperating. So all of these factors played into the delays. What also played into the delays, you would appreciate that some of the executive at the time were usually implicated in the irregular appointments themselves. Now, they could not have processed these things because naturally they'll be acting against themselves. And it took some time to get new executive directors, to get group executives, and also to get the HR processes underway to get this process underway.
Advocate, thank you for your time tonight. Do appreciate it. Advocate Ntuthuzelo Vanara with the breaking news there. He's the head of legal services here at the SABC. The breaking news tonight then, 27 senior employees here at the South African Broadcasting Corporation to be taken to the Labour Court tomorrow for a determination on whether they were appointed irregularly.